Come on with
He
it.
who has an ear, let him hear. Let us come reason together, baby.
Are you listening?
Yeah. Oh.
Yo, what up, world? We back.
Yo, it's been a long time, yo.
Man, long time coming. We usually catch y'all late at night.
A little switch up. The weather finally allowed people to come outside.
Right. So here we are, Come Reason Together Radio. Your boy Steph the Messenger. And always coughing, Mr. Frost.
Y'all forgive me, y'all. Like, everybody's sick, you know how that go. I'm trying to dodge and skirt around, but
you know what I'm saying?
The illness wants me bad. I'm fighting though. We out here fighting.
Man, and we just gonna get to it, quick today. Where we coming from today is we're gonna do a little part 2 about grace and law, man. Man, and I know, that's a topic where people don't like going into because, it can get real, this or that. People either, running from, they ain't trying to be, a Pharisee or, exalt the law, or people, don't want to be. What's the other extreme where they just be like,
oh, sin is no more. Like,
right, like
God doesn't have standards. He loves us.
Man, so we just want to, dive into that to clear that up. So, yeah, man, holla at him. Let me grab the chart.
So yeah, like, I've come to find, and I'm not sure, everybody's experience is different, but I've come to find this is one of the touchiest topics right now in Christianity is this idea of grace and law and how it works and how it fits. And honestly, if we're going to keep it 110, there's just false teachings right now about the topic that's leading a lot of people astray, unnecessarily so. And so what we want to do was just really take the blinders off, peel back the layers, and really see, what this thing is about and what God has for us. We're going to come from the Word and we're going to come from logic. Like, people act like the Bible isn't practical. As practical as any science.
As any science.
As any science, bro. It's a science unto itself. People just don't understand it. And so, again, this is Come Reason Together, so that's what we're trying to do. So, as always, come through with your comments, questions, whatever, because we don't know everything. But I tell you what, it's been some utter nonsense, I will say that. And anybody wants to understand, when you come here in this space, everybody's equal. So leave your titles where you at. Here with this is in Christ. And even if you're not a Christian, you're not a believer, if you want to get into something or have questions about something, this is the place to ask.
Leave your titles where
they at. They're not useful here in this space.
Man, it ain't no respect or person.
No respect or person.
Here, because it get real political when it comes to this church thing, man, to where, depending on your position, man, you can say anything, and it be taken as true just because of that.
Man of God. I'm a prophetess.
Right, and, even though Jesus, combated a lot of those type of things that's in our culture, man, calling no man this or that, and esteeming people, the way, we shouldn't.
We understand the world. It's like right now I'm in the process of getting my master's, right? In marriage and family therapy. I've been doing this for years, but I understand the way the world works. The world needs titles. So as believers, we use those titles as a way to kind of infiltrate what they're doing, right? And to get some kind of, I guess, respect, for lack of a better word, when we speak. But amongst believers, we know that's a charade. Here it's about the fruit of this word. And either you're a harvester of that fruit or you're not. That's it.
Well, man, I guess to get it going, man, when it comes to this law, man,
Jeez Louise.
One of the main things you hear is, the law was, done away with, nailed to the cross. you know, Jesus fulfilled the law. You know, do exactly what he said, you know, he didn't come to do. You know, when he said, I didn't come to abolish the law, you know what I'm saying?
So I think it'll be helpful in the conversation if we deal with some of the myths surrounding the topic, right? And one of the myths is that one, grace and law are different.
One of the myths is grace and law.
Yeah, like grace and law are different. So people act like the grace is a New Testament idea.
Ooh, y'all gonna let them say that, man?
And it's not. Grace suddenly appeared in the New Testament. For the plan of salvation was talked about in Eden.
I mean, but then that goes against, you know, because a lot of people say, man, hold on, man, we under the New Testament. We ain't under that Old Testament stuff, man.
Yo,
Right?
both sides of the book, you might as well see it as one book, honestly. Honestly, like, you might as well see it as one book. I mean, the Bible's not even in chronological order. Job is older than Genesis. So, like, there's... It only sounds good when you're not thinking.
When you're not thinking.
Yeah, but if you're really thinking, like, when Adam's seed in the garden, when the way sin is death, as we see in Romans, when Adam sinned, he should have immediately died. The fact that he did not, and instead of, he was given some punishment, you know, you see that in Genesis 3. But one of the promises about the serpent bruising the heel, bruising the serpent, and the seed raising up one day, and blah, 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 blah. That was a promise of salvation. That was grace. God was like, I should kill you, but instead, I'm kicking you out the garden. That's not grace. It's not mercy.
I mean, but then when you say it like that, it doesn't really, you know, it doesn't, there's this like it's an emotional, beautiful thing that's connected to grace.
Yeah, and they don't see but if you don't see the beauty of grace in the Old Testament, you can't really appreciate it in the New.
Because grace was, you know, in the New Testament, grace is attached to Christ. But, like, you know, when you present it in the Old Testament, it's not attached to, you know, Christ.
But didn't Christ say, I'm the Word? And before there was, I am? When Christ said that? Or did he just show up in Matthew? Like, which Jesus are we talking? Like, when we talk about the Son of God, we're talking about the Messiah. Is he eternal or is he not?
All right.
If he's eternal, then he's always been here. If you tell me he just showed up in Matthew, then that's a lot of the Bible disagrees with you. In the beginning was the Word was God, the Word was with God, and blah, 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 blah. That's talking about Jesus last time I checked.
Right.
So
when people take that approach, they kind of like, nah, bro, if you ignoring the Old Testament, you ignoring Christ too. Like, you can't.
Like, he there too. Like, he didn't just show up in Matthew. He didn't just show up, you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't show up in Mark.
Right. Yeah, that's true. So, well, now I guess it's kind of paradigm shifting, you know what I'm saying? So now you're pointing grace from, you know, the New Testament and bringing it to where first.
I'm saying my premise is no law. The law is a result of grace. The law is an expression of grace.
I mean, I agree, but people be like, man, the law wasn't brought forth until, you know.
Until when?
Till Mount Sinai by
so
Moses.
Here are a few problems with that thinking. I'm glad you said that because that's one of the myths. Did Adam sin?
Yeah, you sin.
Can you have sin? What is sin? Is it a transgression? It's a transgression of what?
Right. Transgression of the law.
It's just that it didn't have to be written down, and I think a lot of people misunderstand. They misunderstand like the purpose of it had to be written down Sinai. It shows how deprived human beings have become. Adam didn't need to be told, "Thou shalt not kill." He didn't need that. Their biggest thing was over an apple or whatever fruit it was. That was the thing, not fornication, not homosexuality. God said, don't eat from this tree, and they did. So these other expressions, these other sensible expressions that we struggle with, I just imagine in heaven, Adam's going to be appalled. He's like, why would you do that? Imagine I had to create a law for you, right, that comes with consequences for jumping off buildings. Like, Steph, you keep jumping off buildings, I'm going to have to start punishing you.
And he's like, that's common sense.
Shouldn't it be? Someone has to tell you, don't kill, don't steal from your brother, don't covet your neighbor's wife. You got to be told that.
I mean, but that's the approach that's taken now. Like, if they say, well, that didn't come out of Christ's mouth. Christ never said, he never touched on, every aspect of the law.
Because he didn't have to. What did Lucifer do in heaven? Did he sin in heaven? Was there a Mount Sinai first? Because if we're saying that, then we're saying there was no sin before Mount Sinai.
I guess there's an issue because, like, when people look at law, the word law, they only direct that word law to ceremonial laws, and they put all that in the same umbrella.
God flooded the world. God flooded the world, and there was no Mount Sinai. So then you say God's an unjust God, because if they did not know that there was something wrong, then he punished them in their ignorance.
You still
just saying. They knew. Just I don't want to tell my daughter don't spit on the walls. She know if she spit on the wall, we pissed, and she can't be like, "Well, Dad, you never said I couldn't technically spit on the wall." Because of the relationship aspect, you know better.
Right.
It's just we became so disconnected from God that he had to start with 10 commandments. He had to start with like, look, guys, just these 10, bro. Like, just we got to start somewhere. Like that's right. Like. Now, I think what you're saying, I want you to elaborate on that a little further. When you talk about the ceremonial law.
When the Pharisees came and, always talked about, he does not, he's not doing what's according to the law, when they kept condemning Christ. It wasn't that Christ was breaking, the 10 Commandments or nothing like that, but they did have, laws that contain ordinances, that govern, the Jews. They really governed their culture, you know what I'm saying? And Christ did some things that went against their culture. He would sit down and eat without washing his hands.
There are spiritual laws and there's cultural norms. And the Pharisees were treating cultural norms as spiritual laws, and they were wrong for that. Kind of like we do in church. Wearing jeans in church is not a sin. In fact, the church is not a holy place in your own home. Christ said, when 2 or 3 gather, I'm there. I got a family of 4. What are you talking about?
You silly.
That's really Catholic of us. Right? So that's not this idea that somehow we are, I don't know even how to explain that, bro. It's weird. Like, there are cultural norms. Like, you were in nothing wrong with the to the churches. That's what you went to. I'm not knocking it. But when you start presenting that as if
it's salvation.
Yeah, like, yo, like God's not pleased with you. I had this elder come up to me, man, this was years ago. I stopped dressing up for church. The reason why I did is I feel like I'm studying on people who can't afford the stuff I can afford. You know what I'm saying? Like, I dress nice at work because my clients, I had to communicate something to my clients. For me, because I have a young face, I'm African American. A lot of the time, my clients are white, older than me. So I understand this again. Me understand I'm dealing with the world. I dress like this for the world because I understand this communicates something. In the churches of my brothers and sisters, bro, I'm not trying to, like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna make sure I'm clean and I'm neat. But I came in, I guess I had some nice jeans on. I had like a button up. The elder pulled me inside. He was like, dressing your best for God. I was like, oh, I said, can we talk about it? Come reason together, folks. Come reason together. So he's like, sure. So he was like, I said, well, okay, explain to me what you're saying. He said, oh, well, Travis, I know, everywhere else you dress your best. Why would you dress your best to church? So, when you come to the Father, you should bring your best. I said, that's interesting. I said, can I ask you a question? He was like, yeah. I said, so when you have devotion with your wife, do you get like put him on three-piece suit, put the cologne on, make sure the edge up is fresh, make sure the waves are popping.
Sanctify yourself.
Before you have a 10-minute worship? and devotion with your family?
Mm.
He was like, well, no, I don't do that. I said, I thought you're supposed to bring your best to God. Is God not also there?
Mm.
That's a cultural norm that is presented as a spiritual principle, and it's not.
Mm. Nah, that's big, man. That's definitely
so.
key.
What the Pharisees were doing they were treating cultural norms. The Bible says, thou shalt not work on the Sabbath. In fact, if you look at the original Hebrew, there's two types of work. There's a work that you do to by yourself. That's the work we do, for us to get paid and so forth and so on. And then there's also a work that you do to help other people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The word that's used, and I can't pronounce nothing, in the original Hebrew, the word that's used in the commandment, the fourth commandment about not working, is about working to gratify yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's very specific. English is a lazy language. We use one word and mean 50 different things.
Right.
Most languages aren't that way. Right? So there's different types of work. And the kind of work that's forbidden on the Sabbath, the kind of work to gratify yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The Pharisees took that and it's like, nah, you can't take so many steps from the Sabbath. That's not what the commandment says.
Right.
They added cultural norms and values to that and said, and they attached those two as they were one and the same.
They was treating those like it was a commandment, one of the 10 commandments.
Exactly. That's because the 10 commandments are all, when people talk about ceremonial law, right, they ask me, I said, God, correct? They're like, yeah. I said, okay, let's get to deal with some of the ceremony. Will we be killing lambs for our sins in heaven?
No.
Will still be a sin in heaven.
Yeah.
Okay. Will we be offering sacrifices to the Lord, offerings of animal flesh?
No.
Well, thou shalt not kill still be an expectation in heaven.
It will be.
Was that an expectation before the 10 Commandments? Because if that's what Cain did was completely legit.
Right.
And even though Cain sinned and killed his brother, God didn't strike him down. So when people talk about this whole thing, going back to that first point, that first myth about law and grace being separate, I'm like, how?
Mm.
We see grace over and over. Israel. You go through the Old Testament, to go through the Torah, all the way up to like Chronicles, bro. You can go beyond that. You can really go through the whole Old Testament. Israel, God's patience with Israel, he never wiped them out. That's not grace.
All right.
You know they deserved it. That's not grace, though.
But the only way, like I said, the only way grace is conveyed is like through like, the emotionalism that's connected with, Christ, And I'm not knocking the appreciation people have for it.
Because, here's the thing. We look at ceremonial laws, a lot of them were to keep Israel safe. Israel was not a church. It was a whole freaking nation. It was the United States, bro.
Right.
Just mobile. For any of us who have ever done any kind of organizational leadership, you know how hard it is to run a team of 10 or a team of 50. You literally got tens of thousands of people. You have just like we have a constitution, but we have a whole bunch of bylaws and amendments, and then you actually have like federal laws, and you have blah blah blah, going all the way down. Same thing.
Well, then that's when you hear people say, "Man, they call the 10 Commandment ordinances. Like, those are ordinances. What you mean?"
Just like, I could be talking about Easter specifically, right? Or I'm talking about Christmas specifically, correct?
Right.
But when I say holiday, it's like you saying, no, but Christmas, like, yes, Christmas is a holiday, but that's not the holiday I'm speaking of.
Right.
When you talk about ordinances, right? Ordinance comes with, for what I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's like a bylaw.
And it comes with two things. It comes with the law and it comes with the consequence.
A law and a consequence.
So you look at the ordinances, the constitutional laws, for lack of a better word, of the children of Israel in the Old Testament, those came with consequences. God said, remember the Sabbath day. Moses said, if you don't honor the Sabbath, we're going to kill you.
Right. Stone them.
That was amendments made, and those amendments that God gave them. But those amendments were made upon the 10 Commandments. You don't see that, and you don't see consequences of the 10 Commandments for real.
Yeah. Let us know if you do.
You know what I'm saying? I guess you did that first commandment where it's like, yo, to the third or fourth generation of those who hate me. But even with that, it's like showing mercy to thousands, love me and keep my commandments. That's first commandment, right? So remember, it's the second. You know, but like, there's no. And I can see why God didn't do that. Because if God says, yo, you don't get this time, you get killed, nobody's alive.
Right.
Like, damn, bro, there's no more humanity.
Mm-hmm. You know, and then Moses, you know, he said it himself, like, how he was gonna put it, you know,
this is at the end about
before he was about to
give over to Joshua.
Yeah.
Before the leadership passed. I'm glad you brought that up. So there's the Ark of the Covenant, which we're all familiar with, right? And in the Ark of the Covenant, there are two things. There's the rod of Aaron, and there's the 10 Commandments. Moses gives this speech, and it's almost like it starts off well, but then he's like, you can almost hear him getting more and more frustrated as he gets towards the end. And he had the book of the law. And he said, you know what? I'm going to put this in there. Because I knew if you didn't listen to me then, you're not going to, if you didn't listen to me while I was alive, you're definitely going to be hard-headed when I leave.
Stiff-necked people.
So I'm going to put this to be a thorn in your side. To remind you, right? So when you go back, I think in Colossians 2, when it talks about the ordinances that were a thorn against us, whatever the language is used, it's talking about the book of the, quote-unquote, the book of the law, ceremonial laws, the book of Moses.
That mandated, you know.
Something that Moses added to Israel as they were crossing over to Canaan.
And also those laws, you know, consisted of, you know, circumcision.
Yeah, it was basically Israel's constitution, judicial, all of that, like all that was in this book. So it wasn't like a pamphlet, you know.
But yeah, thank y'all for watching, man.
Truth.Clarity.Perspective.